Hey guys, I wanted to make this post because I felt it's so important. I feel like a lot of parents are sleep deprived. We're in a constant state of sleep deprivation, especially if you're a young parent with young kids. And as you get older, it gets worse because your body is just not designed to not get sleep. You have to have sleep. But anyway, the reason I wanted to create this video was because I wanted to share my journey with sleep apnea and getting my CPAP machine. So I started noticing that I was gaining weight. I was tired all the time. I just felt like being a vegetable. I felt like I was depressed, honestly. I thought, well, maybe I'm just going through some depression. But one day, my sweet husband said, the other day you stopped breathing and it scared me. I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, you've always snored. So, I've gotten used to that, but I have to turn you over on your side because otherwise you stop breathing. And I was like, that scared me to death. And I said, well, how long have I been doing that? He says, well, usually if I put you on your side, you stop snoring and, we're okay. But I said, that's not good. That's not good. And so at the time we didn't have insurance. And so I was worried about the cost of getting a sleep study done. I called up the clinic and they had told me that it was like, I don't know. I want to say it was like over $1,500, $2,000, $1,900, something like that would be what I would have to pay and out of pocket. Okay. And so I was like, well, we can't really afford that right now. And so I'm thinking, what are we going to do? Well, then luckily I expressed my concern with the receptionist or the person working in the office. I told her, yeah, I need a sleep study, but I can't afford $2,000 right now. And she said, well, you might be able to do one at home and that'll save you a lot of money. I said, really? Well, dang, yeah, let's do it, And so sure enough, I was able to do it at home. So if that is one of your concerns, you might want to check into that. I still had to pay a couple $100, like maybe $200 or $300, but it sure was better than paying almost $2,000, right? For a sleep study that I have to go to the hospital and check in and have basically I'm taking up a bed, in the hospital versus just doing it at home. And so anyway, they gave me the machine and they showed me what to do. And I just put some leads on and a little thing in my nose that records, my breathing. I had to put this sash around my chest that I guess it reads how many breaths I take and my heart rate and all that stuff. And that was it. And I had a thing on my finger to measure the oxygen, saturation, stuff like that. Anyway, I did it and in the comfort of my own bed. I have heard so many horror stories about sleep studies because, you're in the hospital, you're hooked up with all these wires and everything. And so, and of course, people are watching you, which is kind of creepy in my opinion. But anyway, and so I know that if I would have done it the traditional way, I would not have gotten any sleep. I would have been up all night probably. And so this was nice because I slept in my own bed. I felt like I actually slept. And so the next day I just took the stuff off and then took it to the place and it recorded everything in the machine. And so then I just, I waited for the results. I met with my doctor and he had some very startling news for me that I indeed had sleep apnea. I stopped breathing like multiple times an hour. They really stressed the fact that it's like, every time you stop breathing, that's putting a lot of stress on your heart. It's really going to impact your brain. Definitely not getting a full night's sleep when you're gasping for air. And obviously it's going to impact your overall health. And so I was so thankful that I went ahead and made the plunge and got my sleep study done so that I wouldn't have to worry about that any longer. And so now the next part was the CPAP machine. So I went ahead and I went to this supply place, medical supply store. And I met with a wonderful man who showed me all the different options. Now, I am claustrophobic. So I knew I wasn't going to need a full face mask. I told him, I said, I don't think I could do a full face mask. I will suffocate. I will die. I will have hyperventilation and I will just die. So they have these things called nasal pillows. And so I said, well, he says, as long as you're not a mouth breather, if you sleep with your mouth open, then, doing a nasal pillow is not going to work. But luckily, I'm not a mouth breather. So I was able to get a nasal pillow. And it worked within a week. It took me about a week for me to actually feel like it was comfortable. I could fall asleep. And now I can't sleep without it. It's like when I travel, I've even camped. I used to be really involved in scouting, and I went ahead and took it with me to scouting campouts. And I used the extension cords and did all of that, and took distilled water with me. And I was able to use it. And the cool thing is that the machines have a cell phone. So no matter where you are, the doctors are getting that data. So, I was out there for like a week. It was a week-long camp, and the doctor still got all the data. He was actually impressed. He was like, you have one of the highest, rates of usage. I'm trying to think of the actual term they use, but they measure how often you use the machine. And I was in the 90s, because I use it all the time. You have to have a minimum of 70% of 4 hours or more for them to consider it like you're doing, good job. And so anyway, and so I told him, I actually feel the difference. I have more energy. I'm feeling like I could go on walks and I can conquer the world, And so anyway, so that was definitely a game changer for me, is getting that CPAP machine. And so I encourage you guys to do a sleep study, and if you are concerned, and see what's going on with you. And they have so many options now. The CPAP machine makes absolutely no noise. You can't hear it. My husband sleeps like a baby now. He's the one that snores once in a while, so I have to make sure I go to sleep before he does. But it's amazing. It's an amazing tool. They did have a recall on the type of CPAP machine that I had, but I went ahead and got another brand, and it's like the Mercedes-Benz of CPAP machines. It's really amazing. It's really nice. So I'm not complaining, because the one that I had was a little bit older. So anyway, I hope that I've convinced you that it's time to get a sleep study done. If you feel like if you snore and you don't feel rested in the morning, you probably have sleep apnea. Let me just tell you. All right, as always, good luck on your journey, and I look forward to talking to y'all soon. Bye.